This was written back in September while eating a bowl of Reese's Puffs. Happy Thanksgiving! Alright, I'm ready. Is it too late to join Miss Frizzle's field trips?
Thanksgiving. We always think of the food, the feast. But Thanksgiving is more than that.
It's about finding out how your family can have its own season on the Jerry Springer Show.
People who had helped each other through a hard year in a lonely land. This story, by Louisa May Alcott, is about 7 brothers and sisters long ago who helped each other make a very special, old-fashioned Thanksgiving.
This better be more helpful than old-fashioned was on how to court women. The art speaks to me!
November had come up among the New Hampshire hills. The crops were in, and barn, buttery, and bin were overflowing with the harvest that rewarded the summer's hard work.
You can write your own lewd joke here.
Though the sun was hardly up, Farmer Bassett and F, the oldest boy, were choring round outside, for Thanksgiving was at hand, and all must be in order on that time-honored day. The big kitchen,
Sister Mary, who has the number for the Butterball Help Hotline?
To and fro from table to hearth bustled buxom Mrs. Bassett, flushed and flowery, but busy and blithe as the queen bee of this busy little hive should be. It does take a sight of victuals to fill all these hungry stomachs.
I'm more of a tuba full kind of guy.
As she gave a vigorous stir to the great kettle of cider applesauce.
Special guest, a baby Jesus.
Lay in the old blue cradle that had rocked 7 other babies, now and then lifting his head to look out. 2 small boys sat on the wooden settle, shelling corn for popping, and
damn
picking
kids
out
and
the
their corn
biggest
shucking.
nuts from the goodly store their own hands had gathered in October. 4 young girls stood at the long dresser.
One of them apparently is a Sailor Scout.
Was grinding briskly at the mortar, for spices were costly, and not a grain must be wasted. Prue kept time with the chopper. And the twins,
Come
Roxy
cook
and
with
Rhodey,
us, Daddy,
sliced away at the
forever
apples till their little brown
and
arms
ever.
ached. I think it's real fun to have Thanksgiving at home, said Tilly.
Personal experience and
sorry,
thousands of
Grandma's
Christmas
sick,
specials says you're full
so
of
we can't
shit.
go there as usual. It will be kind of lonesome with only our own folks. I like to see all the cousins and aunts and have games and sing.
And have extremist political views.
Come, girls, fly around and get your chores done so we can clear away for breakfast just as soon as I clap my bread into the oven.
Was that the old-fashioned term for sex?
Here's a man coming up the hill lively, shouted Sol and Seth, running to the door. Guess it's Gad Hopkins.
No, that's Paul Revere. He's warning you that the British are
They
coming.
weren't too high. But it was not Gad. It was a stranger who said old Mr. Chadwick told him to tell Mrs. Bassett her mother was failing fast.
I gave her a fucking Samsung for a reason. Fucking boomers.
I couldn't cook nor eat no way now, said Mrs. Bassett. I'm dreadful sorry, dears, but it can't be helped.
Fend for yourselves, you
Let me
shits.
go right off, Eldad. Hitch up and I'll be ready in less than no time. Now, F, you must look after the cattle like a man.
And by cattle, I mean the
Fires,
women.
For there's a storm brewing, said Mr. Bassett. Tilly, have the baked beans and Injun pudding for Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh,
And
we don't call
let
it
the
that
boys
anymore.
get
It's
mince
just
pies
pudding
or you'll
now.
have them down sick. I depend on you, my daughter. Use your judgment and don't let nothing happen while Mother's away.
Thus the prequel Homestead Alone was born.
Yes,
It got canned.
Goodbye. F immediately put on his biggest boots and assumed a sober, responsible manner.
You mean it was 3 shots in and it's barely noon?
Keys and began to order about the younger girls. But the children were busy, gay, and warm indoors.
Oh God,
Never
homosexual
minded
incest.
The rising gale, nor the whirling white storm outside. F was off to the barn.
To fap.
And Tilly soon had a great kettle of mush ready, which, with milk warm from the cows, made a wholesome breakfast for the 7 hearty children.
At least she thought it came from the cows.
Now, about dinner, cried Tilly. I can roast a turkey and make a pudding as well as anybody, I guess.
I got thousands of
The pies
hours
are
of the
all
cooking
ready,
channel under my
and
belt.
If we can't boil vegetables and so on, we don't deserve any dinner. Did you ever roast a turkey? Asked Roxy.
Yeah, I told him if he
Should
got rid of that
suggest to
yee-ass
try,
haircut, he'd get some
said
turkeys
Rose.
on his dick.
Yes, yes, cried all the boys. Let's have Thanksgiving dinner anyway. Ma won't care, and the good victuals will spoil if they ain't eaten right up.
Bro, it's like 8:30 in the morning, ain't it early?
Let's see what I can do. All you children have got to do is to keep out of the way. Why don't you all go out and coast?
Maybe freeze to death so we had less mouths to
Out
feed.
to
I
the
mean,
rough
what?
sleds
Hey,
and
close the
away
damn
trudged
door!
the 4 younger Bassets in the snow, with donuts and cheese and a jug of hot cider. While F took his fiddle and scraped away to his heart's content in the parlor,
Gotta
Tilly
practice
and Prue
before the
got
big
out
fiddle
all
fight
the
with the devil
spoons,
himself down in
dishes,
Georgia.
pots and pans they could find, so as to have everything handy, as Prue said. Well, I'll get the pudding off my mind first. Tilly proudly popped it into the pot, though she had forgot to put in both sugar and salt, and had tied it in the cloth so tightly that it had no room to swell.
Yes, I prefer my pudding with a big bulgy-wolgy. Mary, no! You're not supposed to anally fist the turkey!
I'm dreadful dubersome about the turkey, said Tilly. It's the stuffing that troubles me. He's so awful big, I'm kind of afraid of him.
Well, fuck, I guess the jokes write themselves, huh?
What sort of yarbs to put in? Seems to me it's sweet marjoram or summer savory, said Prue. Then you run and get some up garret while I mash the bread, commanded Tilly. But the garret was darkish, and Prue's little nose was so full of the smell of the onion she had been peeling, she got catnip and wormwood instead.
Oh, that turkey's gonna be baked in so many
Doesn't
ways.
smell just right, but I suppose it will when it's cooked, said Tilly. And F helped get all the vegetables ready, for as the cellar was full, the girls thought they would have every sort. After a short rest, they set the table and made all ready.
Wait, where's the cornucopia? We gotta stuff, it's a heavy metal.
Pretty nice, I think. I wish Ma could see it, began Tilly, when a loud howling startled both girls. 4 small black figures came
Looks like
tearing
the
up
artist who
road
did the
and
slides
bursting,
forgot
all
that
screaming
important
at
skin
once.
color detail.
The bear, F, get the gun, he's coming. I see him looking over the wall, roared Seth. Awful big and shaggy, quavered Roxy. Rhodey piped out. His great paws kept clawing at us. Oh, F, don't let him eat us. Get out of the way, boys.
Time to recreate that bear story from the great outdoors.
Growling horribly and stopped now and then as if to rest and shake himself. Tilly flew for the axe. Fire, F, cried Tilly firmly. Wait till he rears again. I'll get a better shot then.
600 hours on 2 Fort, don't fail me now.
Tilly threw down the axe, flung open the door, and ran straight into the arms of the bear. It's Gad Hopkins trying to fool us, cried F.
Wasn't the best Candid Camera episode.
Ha ha. Oh, Gad, how could you scare us so, laughed Tilly. I just meant to give 'em a little scare, but they run like partridges.
You fucking
Yeah,
turd
haw,
sickle, I
haw
was
again.
about to go Lizzie boarded on
Come in
you.
and sit up to dinner with us, cried Tilly. Couldn't no ways. My folks will think I'm dead if I don't get along home, since the horse and sleigh had gone ahead empty. I advise you not to try that again in a hurry, or you'll get shot.
The same thing was said by Father when they were caught cuddling in the barn stark naked.
My sakes alive! The turkey is burnt on one side, and the kettles have boiled over, so the pies I put to warm are all ashes.
And the prom is tomorrow.
I couldn't think of victuals when I expected to be eaten alive, could I? Pleaded poor Prue. They were just struggling to get the pudding out of the cloth when Roxy called out, "Here's Pa! There's folks with him," added Rhodey. "I see Aunt Cynthia and Cousin Hetty, and there's Mose and Amos."
Wait a minute, did they have a guy literally named after the asshole?
Oh, my patience, ain't I glad I got dinner, and don't I hope it will turn out good. Hooray for Pa! Hooray for Thanksgiving! Ain't Grandma dead at all? Asked Saul. Bless your heart, no. It was all a mistake of old Mr. Chadwick's.
That text was meant for his
They
wife
set forth to
instead.
dinner. Sure, everything was perfect. But the first person who tasted the stuffing, it was big cousin Mose, nearly choked. "Tilly Bassett, whatever made you put wormwood and catnip in your stuffing?"
Well, so
demanded
much for
Mom.
getting the inheritance.
Tilly looked ready to cry. "But I never seen onions cooked better," declared Aunt Cynthia with her mouth full. "All the vegetables is well done, and the dinner a credit to you, my dears." The pudding was an utter failure, heavy as one of the cannonballs on Squire Duncan's great gate.
That's the
But
look
the
of, you
pots
just
were
gave baby
perfect.
boomers 500 years of
Dinner
content.
was over, and F struck up Money
Easy does it, bro. We can get a copyright strike by Warner Music Group.
For a dance. Then away they went, heeling and towing, cutting pigeon wings and taking their steps, till fat Aunt Cynthia fell into a chair, declaring that a very little of such exercise was enough for a woman of her heft.
And Granny was already
After
worn
a
out,
grand
sweating it to the
kissing all
oldies
round,
with Richard Simmons
the guests
tapes.
drove away in the clear moonlight, which came just in time to cheer their long drive.
I gotta make it back in time for
Mr.
Matlock.
Bassett
Later,
said
kids.
soberly as they stood together on the hearth, "Children, we have a special cause to be thankful that the sorrow we expected was changed into joy. So we'll read a chapter before we go to bed.
It's
Give
called
thanks
The Ugly
as thanks is due."
Barnacle.
When the good nights were over and the children in bed, Prue put her arm around Tilly, sure she was crying. The laughter Tilly was trying to smother broke out then. "I was mad about the mistakes, but I don't care enough to cry.
If I didn't
I'm
fuck up the
laughing to
stuffing,
think
I hear
how
another
Dad
rant
threw
about how
that,
we
and
needed a
I
portal
found him
wall and
out.
make Mexico pay for it.
It was real mean to frighten the little ones so," laughed Prue. Tilly gave a growl. "Girls, go to sleep immediate or you'll wake the baby."
I've been told not to feed the
Yes,
baby
sir.
NyQuil anymore, or it'll become one of those special ed students.
Silence reigned, broken only by the soft scurry of mice in the buttery.
Oh shit, I forgot to set the
Their
mouse traps!
part in this old-fashioned Thanksgiving.
Music done after a few wine coolers and shots of vodka. More like art misdirection. Remember, kids, if all else fails, just order some pizzas.
What blockhead cooked all this?